On January 30th, 1979, cameras filled a Florida courtroom as a handsome young man stood, accused of murder. He smiled at reporters. He joked with the judge, and then he announced that he would defend himself.
They prove I was not there.
But hidden behind that confident smile was a terrifying question. How many women had Ted Bundy actually killed? Because the bodies investigators knew about may have been only a fraction of the truth. Years earlier, young women had begun disappearing across the western United States. Most were college-aged. Many had long hair parted in the middle, and several vanished from places where they should have been safe. College campuses, crowded parks, apartment buildings, and public beaches. Witnesses often remembered the same thing: a polite, attractive stranger. Sometimes his arm was in a sling. Sometimes he walked with crutches. He would ask a woman for help, carrying books, or loading something into his car. He appeared injured, easy to trust. But once she moved close enough, the danger was already there. Then the disappearances spread. Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, different cities, different police departments, and nobody realized quickly enough that they might all be hunting the same man. Bundy seemed to enjoy the confusion. He lived an ordinary-looking life. He studied psychology. He worked around politics. He had a girlfriend. And people who knew him struggled to believe that the charming man beside them could be connected to a growing trail of missing women. Then police finally arrested him. Inside his car, investigators found suspicious items, and Bundy was later convicted of kidnapping. For the first time, it appeared the hunt was over. But Bundy had another surprise. While being taken to a courthouse in Colorado, he was allowed into a law library to prepare his defense. He walked toward a window, jumped from the second floor, and disappeared into the mountains. A massive search began. Bundy was captured days later. This time, authorities placed him under tighter security, but somehow he escaped again. He squeezed through an opening in the ceiling of his jail cell, crawled through the building, changed clothes, and simply walked out. By the time anyone noticed, he had hours of freedom, and no one knew where he was going. Bundy eventually reached Florida under a false name. He rented a room near Florida State University. Then, in the early hours of January 15, 1978, someone entered the Chi Omega sorority house. By morning, multiple young women had been attacked, and 2 were dead. The attacker had moved through the building with shocking speed. Just weeks later, 12-year-old Kimberly Leach disappeared from her school. Her death would become the final murder linked to Bundy. Soon after, police stopped him while he was driving a stolen vehicle. He fought with the officer, but this time, he did not escape. What followed became a national spectacle. Bundy acted as his own lawyer. He questioned witnesses. He performed for the cameras. He gave interviews, and outside the courtroom, admirers gathered to watch him. Some even wrote letters declaring their love. Bundy seemed fascinated by his own fame, but while the public focused on his appearance and confidence, prosecutors revealed the evidence that would destroy him. One of the most important pieces was a bite mark found on a victim. Experts testified that the pattern matched Bundy's teeth. The charming law student was convicted and sentenced to death. Yet even after the trial, one mystery remained. Bundy eventually confessed to 30 murders. Investigators suspected there may have been more, possibly many more. In his final years, he offered fragments of information, sometimes delaying, manipulating, and bargaining as execution drew near. On January 24, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in Florida's electric chair. Outside the prison, crowds gathered. Some celebrated, some watched in silence. The man who had spent years seeking attention received one final audience. But the most disturbing part of the Ted Bundy story is not that he looked like a monster. It is that he did not. He understood that people often expect danger to look frightening, so he made himself look friendly, injured, intelligent, normal. And decades later, one question still has no certain answer. How many women disappeared after trusting Ted Bundy and were never found?